I was born in Brooklyn, New York, 1951, and I was a skinny child. Very introverted. I had an ear infection and had nerve damage. I lost 85% of my hearing. That had a huge effect on my life because it made me different than everyone else. I made me very introverted as a child. I have kind of, like would you say, a love and hate relationship with my father growing up because he had a hard time accepting me having a handicap because I wasn't perfect, the perfect son. He kind of pushed me and taught me never to feel sorry for myself. Every week, twice a week, I would have to take a train to the city to learn to lip read. So basically it was very hard for me because I would finish elementary school during the day and then go to the city and then come home in the evening like 6 p.m. It was almost like a full-time job. Being very introverted, I had a kind of a walk-the-middle lifestyle. And I remember when I discovered the comic books, Spider-Man, the Hulk. I was like maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years old at the time. It was like very therapeutic for me because it gave me a chance to escape and fantasize that someday that's the direction I want to go. That's the kind of superhero I like to become. I was reading these Hulk comics, admiring the physique on the Hulk, and I saw a magazine that said Muscle Power, and Dave Draper was on the cover. Before you know, I'm looking at this magazine, I said, oh boy, and I see these different bodybuilders doing different poses, and that made me discover muscles, what muscles all about. And I ended up buying now muscle magazines, bodybuilding magazines, learning about bodybuilding, and want to know how I can maximize my body. I remember my dad took me to the movie to see Steve Reeves' Hercules and Hercules Unchained. So when I saw Steve Reeves, the way he was built, and he was lifting all these monstrous poundages, and in fact he was fighting all these people, that's what I wanted to be. The next step was me to start working out and getting the feeling of picking up the iron, and it gave me a great feeling. I just like working out. The more I saw my body started to change, the more I became obsessed. I just loved working out. It was like an obsession to me. I had to do that. It meant to me more than anything. It gave me a tremendous boost in my self-esteem, even though at the time, bodybuilding was a shadow sport, and everyone kind of against it. I would get ridiculed by my friends. They kept laughing at me. But I didn't let it affect me because every time I trained, it made me feel good about myself. I was about 19 years old. I entered my first competition. I came 23rd place. But I remember that night when I stepped on stage, and the flashbulbs going off, I flexed and posed and everything, people clapping for me, and I'm saying to myself, wow, they're clapping for me. I mean, this is something I'm really proud of. That night I came home, I told my family I'll never come less than third place again from this day on. So I ended up mapping out my routine and training twice as hard. I've lost so much of my life when I was young growing up. To fulfill that part of me made me extremely competitive. That's what I love about bodybuilding. It's a solo sport. And I just love the feeling of competing with myself. I've won the Mr. Eastern America, Teenage America, Mr. Teenage America, Eastern Teenage America, Mr. International, runner-up Mr. Olympia twice, and Mr. Universe twice. The youngest one to win the universe, I was 21 years old. It was my greatest achievement because I know when I won the universe, that's a dream coming true. That broke the mold and made me realize that someone like myself and my problem, the sky's the limit.